16 points plus the stages.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe you could weight in more to make it. I don't know exactly how you do it, but just separating it from the rest of the field so that you're only competing against playoff guys.
I mean, I don't know. It's already pretty complicated. So,
Yeah.
I mean, just to be candid, I mean, I live it, you know, and you guys live it. And there's weeks that I'm like, there's a lot going on,
Yeah.
you know. So I think for us to have an additional point system on top of the already existing point system and an already existing format that is pretty confusing, I think is just getting a little in the weeds. You know, personally, I'm not saying your thought is, you know, necessarily a bad thought, but I think we just have too much going on to expect all, you know, everyone to wrap their head around that, especially as a, you know, from a casual observer.
I guess I asked because, like, yesterday O'Donnell says, listen, you know, we're not going to get rid of playoffs, but we're kind of open to tweaks at this point. So, like, do you have any, you know, maybe preferences on what would be the best way to really determine the sports champion?
I don't. I mean, you know, if I've learned anything in my almost 9 years, you're best to just let them make the rules and just do your very best at your role and your part to try and maximize whatever that is, because, you know, we can sit here and argue about, you know, who's in, who's not, how they got there, you know, this or that, and at the end of the day, it's just, and I tell you all this all the time, it's just not productive. It's not doing me any good, and I get that people want everyone's opinion on it, and I respect that, and it is a great thing to talk about, no question. We can have ideas until we can't see straight, but it's not my job to make those rules. It's not your job to make those rules, and they shouldn't be looking at people's opinions to officiate things. They should have their rules, how they're going to do it, and be, you know, strong enough, you know, strong-minded enough, and believe in their process and their rules enough to not let anyone's opinion dictate what happens next. That is the officiating that needs to happen. Whatever they decide the rules to be is fine. They just need to make sure that they stick to whatever they choose.
Mm-hmm.
Chase, at the beginning of the year, you sat down with Dale on the download and talked about how you really worked hard to learn the next-gen car. This year, you've been the most consistent driver. Do you feel like you finally figured it out?
I don't know that you ever figure it out. You know, it's like anything when you're trying to compete at this level. You know, nothing is ever perfect, I guess, in my eyes, but I am really proud of where we've come from and where we have been, you know, particularly over the last few months of the season, and even more so over the last few weeks. You know, I just feel like we have a really good direction. I feel like I have a good direction. I'm giving them better feedback and what I want and what I need, and I think all those things are really positive. So, yeah, I don't know that you ever have it figured out, but I'm certainly, you know, genuinely proud of where we've been and where we are right now.
If you had to give yourself a grade, what would you give it for this year?
I don't know, probably like a B plus. You know, I'm trying to grade that, you know, like really honestly. I think that there's been some really good stuff, and I've told you guys this in other weeks, but I think there's been some really solid and great things that our team has the ability to do on a weekly basis that is really hard to get and really hard to find, and you know, really everything has been pretty solid outside of just winning more races and leading more laps. You know, those are really the only two things that I feel that we you know, could and need to do a better job of, and